Let me tell you a story, young man. Here we are, 52 matches. Wow, it has been a long journey to get here, Rich.
Been fun.
It has been fantastic.
Seen some weird and wonderful stuff, I'll tell you that.
Everybody is fine with this playing path. It will suit just about everybody that needs to get to where they want to go. The long drops problem, I guess, is probably in the hands of FAZE Clan. They are the only ones that will have an issue here, and they had an issue in the last game. It was a 15th place for them, and they've seen their what was looking like a 4-point chase in easy gap to close slip away from them, and suddenly they find themselves in 6th place.
Yeah, it's not looking good right now. And again, when there's so little to play, and so little time to do it in, you've got to make sure that every single game counts and you get the most points, the maximum potential now, because we are in the final few hurdles. As you mentioned, this playing path we're cutting, straight across the middle, gives everyone open ground to be able to go generally where you want to. I think we've seen adjustments in the past from FAZE where they haven't necessarily taken the vehicles, they've gone more towards kind of the mansion buildings and so on and so forth, maybe up near Lipovka. I'd expect them, looking at this rate, to grab the vehicles and go onto home turf, home territory. The only people that might be a problem, or in trouble, should I say, is TSM if they can get the cars, because they have been struggling so far.
I mentioned Crow Crowd in the last game. They're starting to get closer and closer to Yasnaya. And again, we see them in the side there. Okay,
rough.
So we've had a circle here. Razor Edge picked it, the winner, and it ended on the coastline, around about A and M, the grid market that you want to look at. It was a rough match for just about everybody involved. That took a lot of Western hard shifts as well in that game, if I remember rightly. But this definitely will limit things.
So something like this now, and again, 3/4, maybe even more of the map is inaccessible as an entry point. So you've got, okay, let's try and break this down a little bit. Who's going to have difficulty here? So Jokers could stay around and kick it if they really wanted to along down by Ferry Pier and just stay there. They don't necessarily have to do too much.
FAZE going to try and catch Voxy?
I mean, Uber's got that back seat's got an ump. They could chase him off and reposition. This is what I said about them. That, they don't have to. They've done it before. I'd expect them to do it again. They don't have to go down to Mill to Power. They could take some of the shacks and go early.
Chased him off. They're just going to go back down to Mill to Power. It's not worth it.
The good thing about the playing path is the fact that NIP won't be lingering around here, so they can kind of do what they want. If NIP was lingering, then it would cause a lot of grief for both FAZE and the Knights. But teams who may have trouble, let's take a look at what's very, very dense. So Liquid, I won't expect them to stay longer than a minute and maybe go somewhere plumb center, get themselves centered up and squared off, ready to go, unless they decide they want to get kills, because this now becomes an option where points make prizes and kills will start to basically pay its worth its weight in gold. There's a spot up for London up for grabs, so being able to border patrol here and actually basically just deny entry into the circle and pick up kills and pick up frags, it's a viable play if you want to go for it.
I'd like to see Windstrike do something more than sit around Gatka this time, which is something they've tended to do when the circle's gone this way. They've just picked up a win. They are in 7th place, and they are now only 15 points off 4th place. It's totally doable right now. Jokers, of course, this circle suits them well as well, so they could get themselves in a position. We've seen in the past they've been looking at taking shots on Team Liquid, and Team Liquid themselves are not beyond the realms of possibilities. They may be feeling a little nervous after their 16th place in the last game, but somebody that will be having some serious squeaky bum time right now is going to be G2. They were so far ahead at one point,
slippery slope, isn't it?
Now they're right back in it. NIP, just 4 points behind them. Jokers, 5 points behind them. Suddenly, G2, who were looking so safe for weeks, are now in danger of maybe dropping out of the top 4 for the first time ever.
And they're a team that if they don't go quickly, other teams will be ahead of the game. If you remember, I believe it was back to G2, I'm sure when we had this circle, this is where they sat just above Prim on that backside hill, and M19 basically one-hit the waters, and then the rest flooded round them. And I think the last time we had this circle, G2 went out in 16th position. They got smashed just outside of Prim. Vitality is already on the race. They're already on the go. I'm seeing vehicles coming out from Team Liquid, so I'm expecting it's going to be go time for them as well. We've got a rather open and empty area just above Ruins. Obviously, teams won't know that, but certainly coming out of there, you want to be on the upper side of it before you get boxed in off the back of that little mini drop-off. Gakka's obviously open. You can see the chopsticks or the ditches, whatever you want to call it, the V just to the right of the middle. There is a little compound in the kink of that road, which is pretty good because behind is very open fields, and then directly opposite it's rough terrain. It's not massive or anything, but it's certainly a bumpy hill. Constantine wants to, and so does Jazza. There seems to be look at that little pattern going.
This is one of the earliest times I've seen Jokers move.
Really?
I think so. Yeah, the 5-minute mark, they're already on the move. I mean, yeah, they're already spread out, but this is the first time they've grouped this early. It may benefit them. They do have Vitality coming close. Of course, Team Liquid generally move a lot earlier than this. They are actually pretty late on the move this time. Plenty of choices for compounds. Where would you go, Rich? Windstrike have actually gone center, and it's a pretty good spot. They've gone for the 2-2. One's Wizard Tower, one's on the edge of the swamp.
I mean, we know it's going to pull away from water, but not until later on down the further circles. Gatka's a possibility. I'm a fan of that.
Nip getting camped here by Red Diamonds.
Compound. We've actually got 3 teams about to smash into one another. It looks like Ferry P has been a backup option here for Vitality. They decided to hit in there.
MBS has gone right back, and he's gone straight towards Pin. I don't think he realised that Pin was there. He was backing away from Aduzi, and he's gone straight in towards it. So smoke go down for Pin. Just going to give himself the option, or he's going to try and nade it. He's cooked it pretty well. That's going to go straight towards MBS. He's going to go and cook one back. He's getting a shot from the side. Bestalot comes over the brow of the hill, and MBS finds himself in no man's land, trying to toss out the nades in the smoke. Pinned down very low, but MBS is just getting lit up from the hill, and he is done. He got the nade on Pin, but the revive will come through.
NIP don't pick up any points. They have to fight a battle on the other side as well. Batulin very damaged up here.
So this is a bizarre choice.
Here we go. Up and over. That vehicle is a dead vehicle, so it won't explode.
So they've chose to either, I don't know whether they chose to go for the gate camp, which it looks like they did on the bridge. Yet dumb. 2 of them also chose to go. So they went for a 2-2 split and got caught out by the Diamonds, who were camping them because obviously they've dropped hospital, and they camped NAVI. So what goes around comes around. It's literally karma right there.
I suppose for them, this is I say an unorthodox circle, but not one we get often. So for them, it's going to be a hard rotate because you've basically got a team that's going to come across the bridge.
I think it's more a test of the fact the amount of Western planes Eastern planes we've had. We've just not had that many Western planes.
And they're on home turf, but being able to come out of here, you have to go across the Red Diamonds. And in theory, for me, they should know this. That's clearly why MBS was going on his own and being prepared and getting set up to take a fight. Another team that's going to have to take a fight. Hence, very heavily damaged. They look to find a foothold on this map. There's still a lot of places open. If we can bring the map up at some point, just to show the people at home, the East is about to go down. This is insane. G2 have pulled up in the circle, and they might be getting set up for FaZe Clan. TSM directly in front of the Knights. We literally have 4 teams about to smash head on into one another, unless the Knights get some information. TSM's actually coming down as well. This could be catastrophic for FaZe Clan.
Nasus about to sneak up on Znark here. He's right up behind him. A couple of shots coming in. Nasus will strike as soon as he tries to set that bike up. You can see he's going, waiting for it, sneaks in, completely catches him off guard, and it's going to be an easy kill. Strikes like a viper. Ents and Crowcrowd clashing on the hillside. Mikas is caught out here. This is way outside the circle, by the way. This is north side of Georgopol Hill. This is a long way away from it. The action that we were talking about is so far not playing out. Well, Mexi is down by yellows. They're all rotating. You can see TSM on the move. The Knights are coming in. G2 are coming in. As Ents are getting caught out here by Crowcrowd. That would be a bit of a surprise, I think, from 1st to 16th.
TSM find themselves in the compound that they have done many times before and actually find it completely empty. Liquid on the top of the hill. They did avoid that Brusher's death just against G2. It centers up. That's pretty good. Moves
great
away
for TSM. Look at that compound they just went to.
And again, it was open, which was surprising. G2 did go for the camp onto FaZe, but I think with so much going on, they just narrowly managed to avoid each other. I have no idea how. I did see them get out of vehicles and just kind of reposition themselves. The Knights, again, another team that had to run a bit of a gauntlet. They'll go for the Longwood area.
Oh, so will FaZe Clan.
Yeah,
let's have a look at that one. Knights and FaZe Clan clashing right on top of each other. FaZe haven't got all their players there either. There's only 3. Uber's not with them at the moment. Eights is going to find the first one. Reels gets down. Voxic's on a really good off angle here, but Mex is going to get the spray down. No, Drayden turns it. Fuzzface gets down by Kramer, and FaZe Clan, who just went down in 15th, might be going down in 16th this time around. Uber's the only man not with them, and well, they have dropped to the Knights.
Time and time again. Last man standing. It's just not going well. I don't know what's going on with FaZe, but it's just not going well. I mean, that could have happened to anybody, right? They were uphill, and both teams just hit on like a magnet, just hit one another. It's just one of those things. You hate to see it, you love to see it. We want to see battles, but these teams that are all trying to claw their way up the top and out into the top 4, it's just so brutal in such an early engagement as well.
Well, we were talking about we wanted to see fights early, and that's what we're getting. Vitality and Raise Your Edge, of course. We've seen Raise Your Edge losing 1 already. Ooh. That nade's coming in. Monkey's got away with that one, I think. Just a little too far. That one will catch him. Yep, that's going to catch him out there. Cup of Magic doing the damage. Fast Rail's tossing one in as well. That's actually gone down the hill. It's a really short nade.
Another member of Nip dead.
Well, bigger arms as he think he's got. Miraku downed, as you mentioned. On the rotate coming out, so that's just nipped down to 2 now.
Remember, they're only secure for London literally by 1 point.
1 point, yeah. The Jokers who are taking shots at the moment onto the Knights. They've got a really big spread, by the way, Jokers, across the hills in a pretty central spot as well.
At the moment, everyone will just kind of find a foothold on this one and reposition slightly with it coming into map. Obviously, people aren't out in the water, so
I'm intrigued.
Going central is pretty good, and that's why it's a quiet moment.
All that played out, and G2 have gone to the hill that I think you would ordinarily see FaZe go to that hill, right? Used to be their standard spot, and G2 are sitting there quite comfortably. They all came in at the same time. One went north, one went south.
The thing is, it was a reposition from the Knights. That's why I don't think FaZe expected it.
Yeah,
and
they
even
were
did we,
down,
to be honest with you. So they were going to their own thing, and all of a sudden, the reposition came through, and that's because they went later. And that's what happens when you have 4 teams. We could see it, 4 teams just side by side. Knights are like, nope, don't want to get involved in this. TSM like, nope, I'm going to go find myself a nice little shack here just to chill in. They see the Knights, they reposition, they come back into the Longwoods area. And FaZe are just on the backside of the hill. And again, even they actually got the initial knock, so they had the opener.
But they were in a 3v4 straight away as well, so they made it to a 3v3. But yeah, it was Drayden that came out on top in that battle with Mexi. Very tight, but those are the odds. And the way the battle goes, Team Liquid are laughing right now. It is a large spread and a large compound to hold. Actually, it's a pretty ugly compound to try and hold, that one is. So I don't expect them to stick around too much, but G2 went for that hill are going to be very happy now as all the teams start to look to the rotate spots. TSM trying to make their move. They may bump into the backs of Team Liquid, though, as they work their way in towards the center of the circle. Windstrike also making a move. They're going to come into the rear side of Digital Athletics. We're, of course, watching this all play out on the map. Vitality and Raise Your Edge here on the quarry edge outside the circle and also well outside the point zone.
And again, Cup of Magic's just sat there, been a nuisance. I think Vitality really need to make an aggressive stance here and finally get rid of them and get them off the backside. Otherwise, they're going to constantly be playing passive and just watching themselves. Monkeys up front and personal. That's a grenade going up and over, but it won't find a target. They finally got a glimpse of them, so I'll have the read on where they're going to be and where they're going to be kicking around. Ironically, the house that I called, the compound that I called with the kink in the road just below the ditches is now getting hot as well, as we see 2 teams, Digital Athletics and M19, about to go head-to-head. How many DA have got up? Is it just Mer on his own?
2-2, yeah. They're the 2-2, a beautiful death. Is going to get Constantine down, so he manages to make it more even. Enoch trying to make that push around the side. He's gone down early a couple of times, but he's going to try and toss that nade into Beautiful Death's house. Mert will catch the Wanderer and as well. So M19, oh, they're falling. They're falling. That's 3 gone down to 2 members of DA.
Yeah, it's pretty tragic. I mean, when there's only 2 players in here as well, they've allowed them to get across the field, so it shouldn't have happened anywhere. They've open field behind you. They should have been copped and called out sooner than been allowed to get to the front door, but they have done, and they've done absolutely nothing.
No, yeah, and it just shows that M19 are out their depth in this league now. They qualified through with one of their strongest players, who is not in the roster anymore. He was one of the strongest players in Minsk, to be fairness example, and obviously with him not playing for them, it's definitely been a big difference. Uber goes down. Wow. That's FaZe Clan out. And the Red Diamonds will be the ones that will benefit from that one. 16th, so 15th and 16th place for FaZe Clan. That's 2 games of Erangel done. They are only going to have 3 more Erangel games and another 5 Miramars, which they are historically not so strong on.
Still got this ongoing battle with Vitality. Raise your edge. Raise your edge have actually pushed out a little bit further up the circle towards one of the miniature compounds just off the back of the swamp. They'll get that for free as well as Jokers turn up and then get turned away. Actually, they've been Jokers, some of the players, excuse me, Red Diamonds actually get turned away. So Annihilation comes through for M19. 2 members of DA just batter them completely. Circle does keep going north. We are centering
2v4.
literally on that compound that I spoke about that we were up on then.
South of Chopsticks is the central point, and there were Beautiful Death who just came out in that battle. So M19, it was a battle for position, but when 4 members can't flush out 2 members, you know you've got problems, and you need to be looking at the drawing board and figuring out exactly what you're doing wrong. However, someone that's benefited from this is the 2 remaining members of NIP. They moved in the back, and they're happy right now.
So they'll be central and they can just chill. The difficult task we have here is getting into this circle. So the main head of Gank is taken up by NIP. They've got residents there. If you're looking at the western side, we've got ENS who have just set themselves a nice solid field compound. But then we have to talk about this southern ridge. We've literally got it locked down. Liquid, TSM, and G2. G2 have a very wide spread, so they actually have 25% of the circle edge themselves. They have to be very careful they don't get picked off individually, but...
Shadow down as well. That's 2 members of Vitality picked off by the Jokers. Monkey on the flank, but you can see Senya's got himself behind the tree now. He's got the cover fire coming in. Vitality's spread has been splintered. Jazza's trying to make a headlong run up the hillside as well. Monkey on the flank, but he's going to get the cover position. You can see the Jokers have a really nice spread here as Jazza tries to make his run for that hill. Back over the other side, Fast Rail trying to do what he can. Crow Crowd, oh man, they're getting picked apart by Red Diamonds. Red Diamonds have made a leapfrog move and got ahead of them, and the Crow Crowd, and now the Whipping Boys, as Manchester, the last man standing, goes straight into Windstrike and give them a point.
The Knights have been allowed to get inside and just get ahead of the game and towards TSM. Gustav's getting up close and personal. The rest of them might follow through, but the problem is, I think they left this one a little bit too late to be fighting this battle now. They've let them get in front of them. Jazza does go down.
Mookie's not with him either. He's a long way off at the moment.
I mean, I get what he's doing. He's watching the back line for the entrance. I'm kind of okay with that. He tried to do it yesterday against FAZE. Unfortunately, it didn't work. It was just a poor timings issue because he went down as FAZE came in. But the Knights have just got ahead of the game. They shouldn't have been allowed to get through that one tiny gap between G2 and TSM, and now they're uphill. Jokers
didn't deal with Monkey here. He's took Dimash out. He's just got Senya downed. Again, he's causing a real nuisance in the back here. Kemba, you can see, he gets himself fully healed up. Monkey's going to go for another peek, see if he can get around there. I think there's a revive coming in. Oh, he catches the headshot onto Kemba as well. Kemba's going to have to heal again. And now Monkey's on the move. He is causing so many problems for the Jokers, who are chasing the pack, and they've just been caught. And oh my God, they're down to 1, I believe. Tab is the last man standing for them, and that's all down to Monkey.
You allow one person just to stay alive and kick him behind you.
Well, Senya's going to bleed out, I think. Yep, he's gone. Tab's the last man standing. Whew.
Doesn't necessarily have to be a snake in the grass. It can just be a snake behind moving forward.
They dealt with 3 of the members and then left Monkey. Monkey flanked them, and then they just kept backing away, and just not dealing. Monkey's, I think, what, 2nd, 3rd in the damage dealing? He's right up there. You can't leave a player like that. And the Jokers, who had 4 alive a moment ago, were looking alive and kicking, have gone out in 11th place. Teams like Windstrike are going to be looking at it and thinking, right, time to make a charge. We're only 14 points behind them. FaZe, of course, happy about that because they were only 10 points behind the Jokers as well. 11 points, sorry, total. NIP still with 2 alive, center circle. Consistency is working for them. Now, what can G2 do?
At the moment, they're just chilling and getting a better position. The most important fight is the one that we have on screen here. The Knights are starting to show their face a little bit. Gustav is been allowed to get up close and personal, but he is a solo man at the moment. There might be people in the back lines, but I'm assuming the grenades are completely out unless G2 is distracting the Knights here.
Windstrike again, absolutely battered by Team Liquid in the fields. That's what they can do. So while they're looking to try and get themselves in, and a nade from Gustav works. Now they can try and follow it up. Tries to push him with the sky. You can see Michael trying to lay the cover fire. There's the spray they needed. And this is a beautiful siege from TSM onto the Knights.
It's a really good position for Michael to get up close on top of the hill there to be able to see them through the angle. And here comes the Death Squad. TSM just wipe the Knights off the face of the frigging planet. And good lord.
It is also a nice example as to why you don't have 4 in a small compound like that.
Yep.
It is while you have as many
passive.
while you have as many angles as you want, you can get caught out, which is often why we see teams with 2 and then 2 either side of it. Oh, Mikas just knocked Tripoli down. Windstrike have managed to get on their feet and get out of there. Team Liquid came in. That's why Team Liquid disengaged and went in the back of TSM.
There's the knock and the flush. The lead fragger, Gustav, goes down, unfortunately. Now it comes down to 3 members remaining. They might have picked up 1 team, but Liquid is above them. This is where Michael was before, remember. He got the off angle and managed to pincer the Knights from a different area. Looking straight through that window, it was a great play. He's just below them. I don't think he knows they're there, but
G2 are watching this play out. They're starting to look at angles. They're up on the hillside, trying to see if they can get a couple of shots and free kills and 3 points.
Be careful, Gemty, you go over that edge, and Michael's going to take your face off.
Thriftily down by Tixu. Windstrike moving in on ends. You can see it in the picture there, trying to come out of the fields. Now they're going to try and send it. Here comes Jorski trying to bash straight in there. That's going to be a nade straight underhand. Run away from that one. Get away from the car. Meanwhile, Team Liquid continues to get very up close and personal with TSM. And look in the distance. G2 trying to get himself involved and work their way to a couple of angles.
That's a lot, James. Same position before. Nate grenades over, so AB finds 1. Rory's down. There's no need for him to push on this. They can just stand here and let them come out. There's literally, they'll smoke off, so at least cover. And that's because G2's shooting at them, so that'll deny line of sight from G2. It's a good play, it's a good read.
Windstrike with 3 down. Squeaky, if he can find Tixu. Nuki gets back on his feet. Tixu gets tagged. Oof. Squeaky that just got caught, yeah.
That made him duck, didn't it?
Back straight in there. Team Liquid, they've disengaged. They're backing away and heading towards the compound. And Mert actually is focused on the Windstrike fight, so he won't be ready for Team Liquid coming in behind him. G2 just got knocked from ditch there by Navi.
Yeah, it was a moving, running headshot, unfortunately. Straight from the ditches, just smashes him and sends him down. Mert's pretty much a 1-man band here, so Liquid will get free reign in that compound.
Yeah, they've just run straight in.
There's no real defense. If they want to take it from him, then it should be easy play.
One nade,
Squeaky
one
finds
nade, one nade.
Jonski. In the kill feed to Windstriker, pretty much on their last legs here, but Squeaky's doing whatever he can to keep them in the game. TSM still have to run this large area. It's there's a lot of cover. You know, there's a lot of dips and divots that they can control and use to their advantage to deny line of sight, but you've literally got 2 teams, Liquid and G2, standing right in front of them. Once they come in, that certain area where they will come in on the circle, it's empty. It's dead air.
He got tapped by Navi there, Squeaky did. So he's trying to cover off from Windstrike, and I think I saw a yellow hit marker coming behind him there. So Squeaky getting pushed from multiple angles. Siege down. Oh, TSM, they're getting picked off. They are trying to make the way down the hills. Michael down by Brexco, and G2 trying to eliminate the remnants. Wookie, I think the last man standing for them as he tries to make the run there in the lower portion of the screen. Squeaky, maybe the highest kill leader, but sharing a comp. 3 in a room. Oh. If that would have been a 1 nade, then.
Bye-bye.
See you, boys.
Emergency exit. I'm out.
Don't vault dim it. Don't vault dim it. Oh, he did. Well, it worked. Okay, Squeaky, I think he just turned around at the exact same moment. But Ents down in 8th. Still easy for Ents, though. They're up in the top.
G2 might have a difficulty here. Again, there's a lot of trees, but certainly it is open ground once you go forward. There might be potential here to run east and take control of that little ridge. There is a tiny ridge line that you might be able to abuse, but certainly it's going to be difficult, especially when we literally have Navi in a trench that are sniping from all the way over. Wookie looks to have been found, if not, they were just crossfire. He might be able to survive into a top 6 placement. He can't really do too much because Liquid's in that compound, and they'll be...
It's all about the points. You've got Team Liquid obviously here on your screens in 2nd place.
Done.
They're going to get themselves a kill on Wookie and really solidify their place, I think. Oh, Nookie, that's not what you want in the blue. Oh dear, that may well be the end of Windstrike. Yes, it will, and they all go to the play zone. What was that? That's
questionable.
Not how you go down. Okay.
Unless they've been reading the numbers.
No. They didn't want to give a kill to NIP.
NIP.
NIP
Yeah,
were the ones taking the shot.
Okay.
So that's okay. I get it. I get it. It makes sense. Obviously, NIP sitting in 4th place right now. I was trying to go through the numbers. NIP 4th place, of course. G2 coming down the hillside 3rd place. So it benefits the top 4 right now because 3 of those teams alive are top 4 teams. Everybody else, the chasing pack, is going to be looking at this game and thinking points lost.
G2 could do with a decent win here. Initial bank will go through.
Team Liquid are going for it. They're pushing on to NIP.
They're actually doing it while they're focused onto Chris. That's a very, very smart play. They're all looking this way, trying for some free points, and NIP don't realize Liquid have just turned up in their building. They say, good morning, boys. We'll take this one for free. You're not looking our way, so we'll happily breach your compound and just remove it from your cops.
VAR tries to get around the side. He's going to push straight in the face of Samti and get immediately down. Gaxi down to 1 hit point. Where you're going to go? Nowhere. Team Liquid got your backs. And they moved in, as you mentioned, while they were taking the shots onto G2. G2 went for a 2-2 split, by the way. They actually have 2 in the compound behind Team Liquid now.
Really smart read there from Liquid.
Mert going to get flushed.
Realised they're focusing on G2 and just decided to dive on in. DA gone down, 5th position for them. Yeah, it's a 2-2 split, so it will be good. Try and let everyone in the north just batter each other, to be honest with you, and go for survivability.
Well, they can get good angles on NIP, maybe. Sorry, Team Liquid, NIP's ex-compound, of course. They're going to smoke it out. Now, Gemty is watching the back door, so he is completely aware that G2 are over there. Of course, G2 have this little UAZ. That is their only cover out in the fields. They've got to hope that NAVI get involved and maybe do something here. NIP is still not yet to be flushed, by the way. They've still got Gaxi in there.
He was down at 1 HP, so somehow managed to stay alive. We'll take the bike from DA, what they originally turned up on. Smokes are up. That's a really good play from them. They've put the wall up to try and make it inside the zone.
Oh, that's not what they wanted. Yeah.
No, as soon as you run out there, though. Unfortunately, we have soldiers inside the trenches, and it's going to be NAVI who'll clean up the rest of G2.
Yeah, I don't think they expected NAVI to be in the ditch. I don't know. Maybe they just covered that because the shots had really only been coming from NIP and Team Liquid. So suddenly, surprise, surprise, NAVI pop up, whack-a-mole, and G2 will be down there. But everybody now is benefiting from the points. Of course, NAVI, they're really out the picture in terms of the top 8. Long way away. It's been a pretty poor season for them, in all honesty. Gaxi will go down, 4th place for NIP, but job done. They had 2 alive for a very long time in that, and they've managed to rescue themselves some decent points out of it after all.
So how does this pan out then?
Oh, just nice.
Yes, the Dovnik just snaps to his face. The Liquid don't have to move just yet, but certainly will do next. This compound's still in. NAVI literally holding a trench, and the front of the trenches are inside. Then you have these 2 like entrance exit parts to the tunnel, so they're as close to the center as what Team Liquid are. G2, not really much they can do for the fact that it's open ground, and I think it might be a scenario of snake it in, try and deny line of sight here, because if NAVI is down in the ditches, maybe that little ridge line just cresting does them a bit of damage. So Dovnik, this could be a cheeky nade.
Yeah, that's a good nade.
Could be a very good nade.
Oh, it's just a little short. Just a little bit short.
Now he's worried.
Yeah, getting away from
Maybe
that
I should have moved.
Yeah, they haven't quite got the length on the nades. James would be able to hit it from where he is, but he's a little too far away. Nobody's pushed up to that ridge line. I thought someone might go for the wall. We'll see where the circle moves. Of course, it is going to be phase 9. Well, we know where it's going to move. It's going to center up, which is why they wanted that shot.
They're going to one place, and this is what I mean. Everyone's equal distance from the center, regardless of. I think NAVI have the strongest point in the fact that it's actually. Oh, that's good.
Too much. So
overzealous.
Yeah.
That call clearly came in from regret that G2 was there.
They have to go for this.
They look the opposing way. He's knocked him now, but yeah, they should be pushing on this, and they should be killing them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is also risky because they don't know whether there's 3 or 4 down there, and they know that G2 are in the field somewhere. So if they ran across that field, it would catch them out. Ibby's trying to get to the central shack now. Yeah,
this is really clever. Build a wall, quick smoke wall, get behind the shack, and stand your ground in front of him. But that's a good nade.
That was brilliant. Is he going to catch him?
Oh, no, they're
smoking it. Oh, I thought they were pre-nading catching him out there, but no, yeah, just the smoke's going down. Sorry, Martin, I didn't have the exact sound. I can't quite hear it in my ears for the difference between the 2 nades.
Whoa, G2 are involved. Liquid, Ibby's down. That's come from the middle of nowhere. They will continue the fire down, and G2 have bided their time for Big Chris just to lob a nade on in.
It's got NAVI in there. Ibby will go down, but Jemty finds Chris, so Chris now done. Kane's the last man, but he's coming from the angle behind Navi.
Oh, look at that kills. Double digits.
Yeah, it's a big game for Team Liquid. They're just going to confirm their second place here. Kane will go down. Navi catch them out. Now, can Navi pick themselves up their third win here, or will the two members of Team Liquid still on their feet face the two members of Navi? Pokemolodoy crawling in the smoke. Do they have any nades to toss in towards that shack? Doesn't look like it. Smoke their way into the center.
The problem is Pokemolodoy taking that off angle. They're looking at this shack and they're committed to seeing these players come out. I mean, James has the shoulder peek.
That's it. That's
Yeah,
Navi going to
should
take
be.
themselves a victory. It's been the battle of Pachinki from the very beginning between Navi and Team Liquid, but it's Team Liquid that came out on top in that one, but Navi will get themselves their third win. It will give them a decent amount of points, but they are a long way down.